All right, what's going on? Good morning, guys. How we doing? Let's see. Is the volume okay? We still got people in here. Let's see. Hold please. Hold please. Testing. 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 All right. Looks like it's working. Cool. Let's see if people start piling in. Yeah, we got a new monitor. QS looks good. That was Dan's call out. But yeah, how's everyone doing this morning? Awesome. Good to hear. Good to hear. What's going on, Red? How are we doing? Witten CE. Intel breaking out. Look at that. A total shitter, but yeah. Let's see. Hopefully people start piling in. I know and hopefully people made some money this morning. See what the market's doing. I'll review my trades that I closed out this morning. Had some good ones. Market's been nonstop moving up, right? And in doing so, sorry, this is a mess. Let's look at Blue real quick so that we're all on the same page. But look at this. Look at this price action. We've been talking about this nonstop. Consolidation here, gap up, off to the races. Hardly any pullback, hammer, next level. Continuation, continuation. Some weak semblance of a pullback. This was I'm sorry, not that one. Here we go. June 20th. Definitely a an attempted pullback here to 20, and the following day bounce. There was an effort to continue with that retracement, and look what happened. The market took off. Not enough bad news, perhaps, but we're bullish. We've been bullish, and this is what a good chart looks like. So are you making money right now? Because I hope you are. If you're not, this is the opportunities in the market where you're really taking advantage. Yesterday was another attempt at a pullback. We basically attempted to pull back to the ADMA, and we also tested this consolidation in here, some level of consolidation. This market's strong, right? And so what are we seeing today? Some more consolidation in here. How often does the market find a new all-time high and then not retest that level? Go back and spy all time and find those days for me, because the clue is this: it doesn't exist. So with that said, we had some really good trades yesterday. Took Sound, which is still going. We took Upstart, which looks like it finally hit some resistance at this cloud level, and had those in calls yesterday. So two really good trades, and made some really good money on that. And I will, share those trades here. I know in the RDT Discord we don't share P&L, but here, I'm happy to show you guys what's possible. Sound, I still have shares running. My cost basis is 11.24. Nothing crazy, but I wanted to have some skin in the game in case it did something like this. And that's exactly what I was thinking. It was going to at least test a VWAP all-time high, which it did, and took us to the next level, which is about probably here in this consolidation. This thing is a Momo. This thing's been going. Yeah, sorry, I had to restart the stream. I got a new monitor. We ended up moving. We're traveling for the month out here in Colorado, and but yeah, so I had to get another monitor, and here we are. What's going on, man? Good morning. So yeah, really good trade in SoundHound. I mean, look at this thing, 16% this morning. Those options, I closed them for 285 a fill, a contract. They're now worth 330, so even more. But for those of you who are wondering, here you go. There's the P&L on it. 60, almost 67% on upstart calls, almost 104% on sound calls, which would be more. And then, I mean, you can do the math in terms of return. To me, this is low risk because this is not a big part of my account. This is very low cost basis. And I was basically screaming in chat yesterday that these are cheap options, especially on sound. And we've been talking about sound since last week. If you haven't been looking to take a trade in sound, what are you doing, man? Pretty much everyone in RDT took a trade in sound, I feel like. Right? And so, you know, I'll brag a little bit here on that, but I may be one of the more aggressive traders here in this Discord, and that's fine. But a lot of you guys came from Wall Street Bets, and coming from Wall Street Bets, you should have a pretty high risk profile. Well, guess what? You have an edge now, and you see an opportunity, and you don't take a good winner on it. Well, you have no one to blame but yourself, especially when the market's this bullish, especially when it's been this strong. And so look what's happening now. Buyers are still not really around. Palantir's still moving up. That looks all right. I'm probably going to close out my calls on Palantir just because I don't want to be running these when the market's not with me. But I do have Palantir puts that I sold as well. And those are up 37%. Sold those yesterday. And I actually mentioned that in the live chat. I mentioned, not that I sold puts, but I said Palantir, is finding support. And when Palantir is something that I would like to own in the long run. So let me close out this position real quick. I'm going to just scratch it, which is fine. Or try to, if it'll let me. I'm still in BSX. I'll take a loss on this one. That's fine, probably. Upstart's now pulling back. Sound's the one that really looks the best. XYZ's been making a good move, but is now rejecting the 200. I'm in shares here. I've been bag holding these for a little while, and that's fine. I'll continue to hold these. I think they're fine. ANET's been strong. Nice consolidation in here. I sold puts at $95. Those are up as well, 50%. And they expire on the 18th. My Palantir puts expire on the 18th. They're up 40%. My AEVA puts are down 23%. But they, I have no concern here really. Obviously, this is a little bit bearish here from what we're seeing in this price action. Do I think that this is still okay at $30 a share? Probably. And like Pete says in his videos, if you're not willing to get exercise on these, then you shouldn't be trading them. And so that's mainly what I have in my open positions. So if I still looks good, it's slamming up against this H+. There's another one here that's coming in as well, so those might be relevant. But you need to take those into consideration. So anyways, we'll get into the sectors, we'll get into news, we'll get into all the fun stuff here shortly. Let me clean up some things here. I just got to make sure my setup is good because, like I said, new monitor moved. So, but yeah. I hope you guys, the reason I share the P&L, and yeah, I'll give myself a little self-pat on the back, but like, look at the buying power requirement versus the return in options. You have the confidence in a trade, you're looking to get directional. Obviously, Sound is not exactly the best stock ever, but I'm not looking for a massive multi-day trade, right? I'm looking for one move. And look at what we got today. And the relative strength yesterday was so obvious. It was so apparent. I mean, look at this. And then look at SPY. It could not have been more apparent. Right? Relative strength. With, at the end of the day, buyers coming back in. And then we get a slight gap up. Sounds off to the races. Still looks good. Anyways. Food for thought. Let me do something here on the side just to clean this up. All right, let's get some of this stuff going. Yeah, why not? Let's pull up Trading Edge. We haven't looked at his stuff lately very much. So we have earnings around the corner here. Let's see what's going on this week. Nothing really relevant. Yeah, nothing that we really care for. But I do believe that. Let's see, is there a monthly earnings one here? For July? No, doesn't look like it. Okay. In terms of economic news, today you have pretty much nothing. Consumer credit at the end of the day might be interesting. Tomorrow, inventories, Fed minutes, potentially interesting. Initial jobless claims will be interesting. This is where I think there's the biggest question mark. Pete mentioned it in his video, right, around what's going on in those initial jobless claims. ABP came in really poorly. What does that tell you? That's the private sector versus the public sector and government jobs, which seems to be like what was propping up the jobs numbers last week. Kind of interesting. What does that mean for the larger market? I don't know. A little unclear there. Sound continuation. So it's good. We're out of Upstart now. Took our gains. We'll get out of this one. Let's close it. Yeah, sure. Can you tell us about your travel setup? You bring an extra monitor? I brought my whole PC and I brought 2 monitors because we moved out of our place, so I had to kind of bring the whole thing. And I'm also a gamer, and we're gonna be here in Colorado for a month plus, so for I don't know 6-7 weeks. So I wanted to have the whole setup. Palantir, I think my position might have closed. No. Nope, still hanging around there. All right, let's see. I mean, it's definitely showing some relative strength, but this market is obviously showing some weakness. So what are we going to want to see from the market today? These trend lines may be invalidated, so let me clean this up. So today may be a lot of flipping charts, cleaning up some of these charts because there's a lot of nonsense in here right now. You see I got a ton of lines, but that's because there's a lot of levels that I think are going to be relevant. We'll go through trading edge levels as well. I think those are sometimes pretty interesting, what the quant looks at. And then we will jump into sectors. We'll do the whole damn thing like we always do. We can throw an AV up on relative high and look at that. It's right here. So what do you want to do? Probably set an alert there just in case. But yeah, we're going to see what happens here. We're going to see if we retest the 8. We're going to see if we retest some of this horizontal that's coming in from Monday, right? So yeah, let's see. Let me keep cleaning this up. But yeah, it only takes a couple of the trades to really have a good week, right? Okay, so it looks like Palantir's not gonna hold up here, but we'll see. I have no reason to exit. Google taking an absolute beating here, rejected that H minus, and then couldn't even get back to it. Double, maybe triple top here, definitely weak. Nvidia holding up, nice consolidation, was kind of showing strength yesterday, but still sellers are in there, right? And I think I read on Trading Edge that there's a lot of puts lining up there, so kind of interesting. Meta was looking like it could bounce and retest this level. This thing's been going, right? And it's not, it's not like these trades are dead, but it's not showing the same impetus it was, in this move here. Microsoft has been making new all-time highs. Looks like it's a double top forming here, right? And so it's a little bit weaker today. AVGO, another one that's been good. Big market cap in semiconductors, a little bit weaker this morning. But like Nvidia, kind of showing some strength here. We'll move it up. Amazon, big weakness today. Look at this. So these breakouts, they're breaking out to a next leg, like this level here. Right? But it's having a hard time sustaining. What does this need to do? It needs to hold this support now and bounce to the next level. But it also is going to need the market to do that. Do we have the market entirely right now? No. The market likely will either need to show that this pullback was just that, a pullback to retest this level and to bounce, or that it's now found, a new relative high, and that we're going to pull back even further before we bounce again. That's standard stair stepping, right? We talk about this all the time in this channel. We talk about how, the stock is going to test the next level, whatever that may be. Is it the second standard deviation? Is it going to bounce back to VWAP? Is it going to, test an AVWAP from a previous day? Is it going to, test a standard deviation of that AVWAP from a previous day? Those are the levels you need to be looking at and accounting for. Obviously, AVWAP or VWAP of the day is important. Obviously, the 8, the 15, the 21 EMAs are all relevant. So what do? We wait for this to kind of shake out in the morning. We say, okay, is this going to test the 8 and pull back? Retake a new leg lower? Is it going to test the 15 and then bounce to the 8 and move higher? It's all stair stepping, right? So keep an eye out for that, and that's what we're going to look for intraday. So we're finding new lows on the day. This is pretty weak, right? It's a bit of a gap fill that's coming in. Well, not really. We kind of gap filled already. I guess we closed here, but we're going to retest these lows from yesterday. Is that unlikely? Is that was that out of the realm? No, definitely not. That's always just like we think that we're going to test all-time high again at some point. Probably need to retest some of these levels of support to really find out, is this really a foothold, as Dan says? Is this really support? So what we'll do is we'll finish up here with the mags, and then we'll jump into the sectors, and then we'll start looking at some picks. So do I prefer to sanity check, please? I entered Roblox near today. It was so strong and the market was putting in a tail. I still like it, but or is it too late? Look at Intel. That's funny. Roblox? Rocket Lab. I don't know. I don't mind Rocket Lab. I was in Rocket Lab yesterday, and then I missed this move. I took gains like right in here. It pulled back, so I was like, fine, and then I missed that whole move. So I was a little pissed off about that. But obviously today, I still took gains. It wasn't a big winner, but it would have been if I'd held it, so that's okay. I don't think it's bad. I think it's showing some relative strength here. This one's another Momo kind of, right? I think you're fine here on Rocket Lab. I think your entry is obviously important here, but you need to kind of evaluate what the market's going to do. And with Rocket Lab, we know that's like IWM, right? More RSP. Well, you want to see some strength coming in for the total market for that to be some continuation for you. So we'll see. I still have my eye on Rocket Lab. Do I prefer swings or intraday trades? I like both, but I love a good overnight swing when I know that relative strength is there, or when I know that a stock is setting up for a good move, especially on breakouts, especially with SMAs, especially with big H minuses, things like that, right? So let's finish up the mags here. Like we said, NVIDIA is showing a little bit more strength. AVGO now below VWAP, so not great. Meta below VWAP and testing low at day. Microsoft, same story, so pretty weak. Amazon still weak. Apple, which has been weak, is now showing a little bit more strength, but it's holding below the 100. If you didn't see, actually, we're going to look at it. I'll pull it up. Give me a second here. Oh man, so good. On the SMA bounce article from Harry. If you didn't read this, you should read it. SMA bounces are amazing. SMAs are key levels that we always have to keep account of. Here's what I'm going to show you. Don't be this guy. Do not be this guy. Write a good question, put in all the DD about what you're thinking, all these things, whatever it may be, a lot of macro in here, and then get some good feedback, and then start being, a shadow trading little baby. Looks clear to me, but I'm staying in the position, moving the goalposts, to the gap now, right? Making challenging Harry in those ways. Like, I mean, you can challenge Harry all you want, but you better come with some, you know, some sweat equity and also some receipts that you've got what it takes. So Harry waited 4 days to respond to this, so you know he was ready with his guns loaded to let this guy know what was up. So kind of funny there. Yeah, so let's finish up these. We looked at Apple. We said Amazon's weak. Netflix weak. Look at this big rejection candle, and we got that on PLTR, and that's why people were kind of scared there. But Netflix has been strong. Look at this. It's still not even below the 15. Last time it got below the 15, it tested the 21. This will likely have to test the 21. And you know what? If the market's going to pull back, and we're going to see a change in the structure and a change in what this stock is going to do, well then yeah, there is a chance where this tests the 50. But then likely it will retest all-time highs if the market allows it to. Tesla, stronger today after a big sell-off yesterday. I don't know what that was all about. I'm assuming it's news and Elon doing his stupid shit, but here we are. A little bit stronger today than some of these other ones, so we'll move it up. AVGO we said is a little bit weaker, so we'll move that down. Costco looked great yesterday. I tried to sell puts on Costco. I couldn't get an entry. Reeks and I were talking about this one. Definitely a great trade here that was setting up. I was trying to sell puts below the 200 SMA, and they would have been very good premium because this is such an expensive stock. And I also wouldn't have minded holding that. Continuation looks great. I'm in U calls. So we'll see how that looks. Sound continuation still looking good. We're in shares there, and Palantir's being the one that's kind of being annoying. And that's okay. And Alphabet we said is weak. So yeah, that's where we're at with the market today in terms of the mags. SPY now bouncing off of the low of day, which was also the second standard deviation here, potentially the third, bouncing back to the 80 MA. So what do we need to see? We need to see it either break through this with some conviction, or it's probably going to test back down to the low of the day, and then maybe to VWAP. So let's see. Today is going to be about evaluating the move from SPY. It's going to be about evaluating your open positions. Does the RS continue? With the understanding that this move is not long, right? Is not long for your longs, meaning that if we can't find some support here on what was yesterday's significant level here, some horizontal, that orange line, then what does that mean? Well, that means that we probably need to see what next level lower is going to test, and are we going to bounce from there, right? You have an AVWAP from, what is this, 30th of June, which was the last relative high. That is down here. You can see it on this 5-minute chart, probably about 550.70. So we'll see what that looks like. Oh, sorry, that's QQQ. And then on SPY, similar thing. Obviously, it's not as big of a move there on the 30th. So we have AVO up from July 3rd, of which that's at about 622. So there's probably some resistance there. So we'll see how we interact with all these levels. We can get into trading edge, like I said. Let me pull those up. And perhaps he's got quant numbers up. Sound up 20. Okay, so obviously Sound was in trading edge as well. I haven't been keeping up with him, but I mean, absolute banger of a trade. And there was a great conversation between Izzy and Dan where they were going through some of that, and I hope they made good money on it because these kinds of setups, I really don't think you see those kinds of setups as often as you would like to. And if you're not taking advantage of it, well then, you're missing out on big opportunities. So let's jump into the Discord real quick. I called out INTC. Someone took Cloud Slider. He took Joby. INTC still looks great. Rocket Lab, we're going to pull this one down because it's not as interesting based on the price action. It looks like it's just following the market. Yep, Joby's been one that's been moving. Look at this. Most of the move was in the first candle. Let me look at my U position just to see where we're at. It's up 17% right now. So we'll continue to hold this one. I still like it. You're going to have some horizontal in here that it's going to be testing, and we'll see what the market does here. If the market finds support, like, what does that mean for you? Do we get continuation here? Do we test this next pivot point? What are the next levels that could be relevant? Well, let's take a look. definitely one here. So we'll set an alert there. We already have one. We had this level here, which was, you know, kind of coinciding with a bunch of horizontal going way back. I mean, there's a lot of chop in here. I don't know if there's going to be another big move up for you here at this level. We might end up looking to take profit here. 17% isn't something to, you know, to look away from. So let's see. Oh, actually, sorry, that was old. It's actually at only 11%. And that's okay. I don't know, it keeps fluctuating. It's at 15 now. So yeah, we'll see how this works out. We got to keep a tight eye, close eye on and tight leash on PLTR, because if this guy breaks down again, then this is not going to be a great place to be in my calls. So I'll probably keep an eye here on the 8. We'll just set an alert. If we break down below there, then we'll have to make a call on that one. BSX is moving. This was the shitter of mine, and look at this. It's breaking down now below the 200. This one I'll probably just let go, and I'll take the loss on this one. And that's okay. You got to be a good loser and a good winner. Actually, you know what? I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait a little bit here to see what the market does, but this is likely probably gone, unfortunately. It was not a great entry by me. Probably should have just sold puts instead of bought calls. But it's not a massive position either. So I am sized down a little bit because of where we are with the market. But size down does not mean you can't make a great return. Quant levels are paywalled now. Oh, geez, we'll have to ask Broccoli. You know, there's a world where the trading edge stuff is worth it. I don't know how much it costs, but there's a world where it's worth it. Micho shorted RH. Looks weak intraday. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm really not looking short. We'll see after today. But we're still above the 8 here. We haven't even, you know, made any real significant pullback. You know, unless it's going to be news-based of a larger pullback. That's kind of what I'm thinking. That, you know, it'd be tough. Look at that engulf from NVIDIA. Pretty significant there. And that's what we were seeing a lot of yesterday on NVIDIA. And that's why I was like, okay, there's relative strength here, but this is also a big part of the market, big part of semiconductors. You know, without NVIDIA, we're not going to just take off to the next level unless the rest of the mags are really going. It looks like Tesla's now, it broke back to the 100, finding support there. Kind of interesting. Even with all the bad news, this is the kind of pullback that you see. Like, I don't like Tesla. I don't want to own Tesla because Elon, you know, F Elon. But, like, is there a world that you could sell some puts down here? Probably. And ride those out for a little bit. I mean, we could just look at the chains just for the heck of it. Maybe even here. Like 284 or down to 273. I'll just pull up the chains just so we can take a peek. 285, I mean, pretty good. Low delta, right? 0.15 here, 0.19, so kind of pushing it there. So maybe right here, not bad. We said 273, so maybe right here, not enough return on that one. But if you went 10 days out till next week, which is monthly, you know, you could get $2 on this at 0.15. I don't know, maybe. I see it. Like I said, I think there's other stocks that I'd rather own though. But it's definite relative strength, but if only because it's finding support here. Now, the other thing to consider here is news, right? And we know how news heavy Tesla can be. So keep all that in mind when you're looking to make a trade like that. Look at this from Broadcom now. Probably because of this, what you're seeing from NVIDIA. But yeah, semiconductors must be really weak. Let's take a look. Really not that weak. Interesting. What is strong in semiconductors? We'll have to take a look because it gapped up and now it's holding. So let's look at semiconductors that are strong. We know that Intel is good. Let's see what else there is. Ouster. Ouster was one that had come up a couple times. Look at this pullback it's made. Okay, so it pulled back, tested the 8, tried to bounce, no real buyers interested. So what did it do? It broke down through the 8 to the 15. Tried to, same thing, no real buyers came in on July 2nd, bounced off the 20, bounced off the 21 EMA, back to the 15, retested this level, now taking another leg higher. Is there a world where this continues back up here? Maybe. I don't love what the price action is looking like on this one because I think there's probably better ones. like Intel, which is kind of funny. But the Intel D1 is probably garbage. Well, it's not bad, but it's found a lot of support down here. But I just don't think Intel's a company that you really would want to own. So, um, yeah, I don't know. I don't really see it, but Intel is still one of the biggest semiconductor companies in the world, and they're American made. What does that mean? I don't know, but Trump probably likes them more than he does all these other companies that are not American made. All right, so sounds getting its pullback to view up. Let's see what it looks like here. Like I said, I'm in shares here. I don't really mind this pullback. What I want to see is this to retest this level, and if it can't get back above this level and it continues to break down, then I'll just close it and I'll take my gains. XYZ is getting at that pullback, and like I said, we'll just watch this one. Not really worried about that. I think, yeah, BSX at this point to me has kind of invalidated itself, so I think I might just close it out. It still has a lot of time. It has till the 18th, but if it's going to lose the 50, then I don't want to be in this. Let me just make sure. $101.45. Wait, that can't be right. 103.37. All right, and PLTR is now breaking down like we had said to the 8. Let's see if it's going to bounce here. And if it doesn't, then perhaps we need to make that call too. All right, and so when you put on a lot of different trades, you have to be able to manage them accordingly as part of a a larger plan. And here's the bounce from Sound, right? And there's potentially even a trade there in Sound where you could have gotten long off of VWAP. What's the market doing? I think it would have been tough, but this stock is so stupid strong, right? It's already up 15% today, so maybe not. Maybe you're already exhausted in this move. But yeah, there's a world where you could definitely take another trade in Sound, just because the market's been so strong, just because of what this stock is doing. This is a Momo, right? Look at you, still looking great. Let's see what else. All right, so Micho, you said RH. Let's look at RH. Joby looks, like we said, looks pretty good. Ava definitely giving it back, testing that 30 level again. ANET giving some back, but not bad. We're gonna look at RH. I don't even know what this is. Retail, specialty stores. What do they do? Is this shoes? Oh, restoration hardware. Why would you short this? I don't think this is a good short. You have the 50 right there. Coincides with, a pivot point kind of. Yeah, this is not a good short. I would not have taken this. You probably, like you said, have some sort of I don't know, L plus, but it looks like it's still respecting it. When it comes to these, I need to see confirmation through the end of the day. And the only time I would actually be interested is probably below this level, below the 50. But even then, look at all this choppy BS it needs to get through. You could also throw an AVUOP on down here and see what that looks like. Like, this is where I would actually be interested. Yeah, I don't like that. Your confidence on SPY relies somewhat on D1 8 EMA on SPY unless you get a bearish engulfing of yesterday. I mean, my confidence in SPY is just the D1 in general, yeah. And the fact that we have not even broken down to the 8 yet. There's some levels in here because of this consolidation that we'll have to factor in. I mean, to me, that's not even worth the trade, Micho. And 191 is the 50. I don't see it, dude. I think that's I think this was not a good one. And now it's back above VWAP. Now what? Now what do you do? Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, so we'll see if we can find some trades. You sized for a pullback. I mean, this is moving against you. I don't know. So we took BSX off. PLTR is fine. And like we said, we think SPY may be finding some support here at this level. We'll see. And look at us now. PFE alert. Let's see what that looks like. U still going. Sound retrace almost to the high of day. We can look at Upstart again. I mean, this is like basically an LTI holding for me at this point, block. So, I mean, I can even take this down. It doesn't really matter. I sold puts on it, like I said, as well. And there's Upstart putting in a big bearish hammer. So you don't like that. These were puts we sold, so we'll leave it like that. This one, move that out. Let's look at PFE on the 5-minute. Making moves. It looks like it's breaking out. Something probably needs to be adjusted. Yeah, so it's breaching the 200. Something in PFE. Let's look at oops, there we go. Let's look at, okay, so even though Nvidia was struggling earlier and AVGO, look at this. AVGO is struggling. Nvidia's not. Nvidia's doing all right. Like we said also that there's some other semiconductors that are doing pretty good. Intel being one of them. So we'll see. I'm going to start looking at the Discord a little bit too. Donkey has relative weakness on McDonald's. Apple, Lulu, Google still weak. I mean, I don't really care for those right now. They've already made that move. AutoState's not looking short or anything. Dan took a loss on coins. You know what helps when it feels like they've made a missed move. Yesterday was very clearly a bear trend day, and I am sure quite a few of us felt blindsided by it and felt like they're chasing shorts. If you zoomed out, the market context is still pretty bullish. I mean, that's exactly what I did. I was only getting long yesterday on the strongest stocks. Dan likes QS. We looked at that one. Click buy. Yeah, I mean, Dan picks a lot of really good stocks. Some of them are not, you know, exactly the best companies. Like, I mean, this, I have no idea what this is. This is probably some sort of, I mean, these are, you know, not small companies. There's something here, and they're obviously writing something in terms of AI or provision of energy storage. So yeah, this is like energy, probably in relation to AI somewhere. You have some pretty key levels that are going to be coming in here, so we could definitely map this one out. Let's see. Sorry, I'm getting used to this monitor. It's a little bit bigger and some stuff going on here with it. Let's do this. So you had a nice H minus there. Got a big one probably. Yep. Nope. Just kidding. That was volume candle. So what can you do? Okay, so there's no other H minuses that are relevant. So what can you do? You can throw on an AVU op at the all-time high. Look at that. Look at that attempt to get back through it. You can throw another AVU op on probably here because you got big volume on that day. Let's see what happens. Boom. Tries to get through it there. Same thing. And look where that is. I mean, is that all the move you're going to get? Potentially. I'm not sure. But you obviously have some horizontal here. It looks like it's been breached. You're going to have some horizontal up here. Definitely somewhere in there. So you don't have a ton of room. You have about $1.30, $1.20, 15, something like that. Some key cloud levels that we're getting through. Yeah, and you're gonna get a cloud level here too. Yeah, I don't see a ton of room on this one, but I mean, it's good. maybe the entry was yesterday. What did it look like yesterday? Kind of just floating. Big volume coming in yesterday. At the end of the day, you could throw an AVWAP on here too, because obviously this is an important candle. Look at the support it was holding through Monday and the end of last week. I don't know. Not abundantly clear to me, not like a hammer that's telling me like, yeah, there's buyers there after we've tested some levels, but it looks pretty good. Let's see what else. Talking about Taco. Yeah, so there's the potential for a lot of news, so keep that in mind. Gerard says XLV and XLE strongest, so we'll take a look at what those looks like in terms of sectors. Reek said there's an asshole candle. Let's see what that is. Wow, look at that engulf. Wow, are we bullish? Were you looking short? If you were looking short, I don't know, homie, but that ain't pretty. That ain't pretty. So yeah, we like our longs still, right? And we want to see, like, we expect that there's going to be some selling, some profit taking, right? What happens though if we hold this level of consolidation here and we just retest the high? We may, you know, try and this H plus may be invalidated, definitely. So we'll mark it as such. This H plus also likely invalidated. We'll mark it as such, but I leave them on there because there's a chance that, and I've seen this happen, that a previously invalidated H plus or L, you know, any of these trend lines, they can then become either support and or resistance in the future. So like we said, we have an alert set up here at what is AVWAP from Thursday. So we'll see what that looks like. Looks like we're testing high day. Looks like QQQ is now moving back up. Testing AVWAP from Thursday. I mean, that tells me that QQQ is pretty strong in here, right? This is a key level here for QQQ. Let's see if we get above it. And then we obviously had a pre-market level that seems important as well. So we'll set an alert there. Definite volume coming in though here too, right? PLTR testing view up. I went crazy with Archer today. What's Archer? TXN looks good for a long. Yeah, dude. And now look at your RH trade. I hate to say it, but that's what happens. Archer Aviation. This guy? When did you go crazy with it? I hope it was on a pullback. I mean, this D1 is not it. When would you be interested in Archer? Maybe here. It is breaking through the 20 or the 50 rather, but not with like much conviction, and definitely not with a ton of conviction on something that's kind of another one of these like Momo stocks, right? Some significant levels of support coming in below here, which are nice. How much room do you have here? 8%? I mean, maybe. I see it. Okay, there's you. Continuation. Boom. Look at this. This thing's a flyer. I do think it will test 29.34. Let's see what that's doing to the position. The position is currently up 18%. Not massive position here either. You know, sized accordingly. Would like to see this continue. So let's see. 2.8% today. That's like a small move for Unity on a good day. So we will see. Give me 1 second here. I'm gonna go warm up my coffee. We'll put SPY back up here. It looks like it's gonna struggle with high a day, which was, you know, that horizontal level. Appreciate the follow, whoever that is. Yeah, if you guys are new here, like to stream, a couple times a week, just for a couple hours after the open. Talk through what we're thinking, show some of the trades that we've been taking, talk through how we do standard analysis on the D1, on the M5 intraday, and how we, determine what we want to take trades in. Everything here is based out of the RDT Discord, Real Day Trading. If you don't know what that is, someone can share the link in the chat. Also, the Discord for RDT is where the majority of the people that are in here typically hang out, so I highly recommend it. Some really good traders in there, so definitely check that out. Libero went long circle. Yeah, profit's still in sound. Nice, dude. Talking about you, Donkey likes Pan W. Let's take a look at that one. So, I mean, you can see how I mark up the charts. Like, there's almost no instance where I don't leave some sort of alert. Pan W is looking all right. Let's see. You're above some key levels here in terms of EV ops. I don't know. This volume is nothing to write home about for me. So, yeah, I don't see anything there for me. Got to clean this up a little bit. There's just so much going on here. It's so busy. I don't know what I just deleted. Undo. Is that an AV op? Looks like it. Okay, we'll get rid of that. Yellow lines represent the SMAs. Those are your most important ones. Blue lines represent cloud lines. If you're new here, those are also important key levels. And then you have the EMAs in here as well. SMAs are the 50, the 100, the 200, all the standard ones that we use in RDT. Rejecting high a day here on SPY, which was the horizontal that we've drawn in here, which also coincides with levels from pre-market and from yesterday. Definitely something there, even here, right? And yeah, so I just draw some levels in and I just see how it reflects. You guys got me talking so much, my coffee got cold. All right, and so we'll see what happens. This is looking like it's just going to be another day where we're trying to see if there's buyers still or if there's more sellers that are coming in. You nonstop, PLTR is fine. Sound looks like it's retesting view up here. I think, it's just shares. I'm not worried about it. What I'll end up doing is I'll just set a stop loss and I'll set it at below a view up here. Probably like 1240, just to lock in some of those gains. Yeah, look at XYZ. Look at that rejection off the 200, basically. But that's what we've been saying, right? The trade was to the 200 at the most, and you got it this morning, and now you're getting the sell-off. So we'll pull that one down. Like I said, this one's an LTI position for me. A little bit of a bag hold on XYZ, but we'll see. I plan to take a gain on it. So Pan W, I think I'll probably just set an alert above the H plus, and we'll look for, or the H minus, we'll look for the breakout because you have some horizontal that it's respecting today. We'll look for the breakout and then the pullback to retest to the next level, but it's going to be market dependent. We'll jump into sectors here in a second. Look at PFE, broke out through the 200, now pulling back to test it. Let's see how strong it really is. Let's look at Intel again. Intel's probably one of the strongest in semiconductors. Let's just take a quick look. Yeah, we looked at Ouster. Let's look at ON real quick. Okay, ON, nice breakout. Okay, this is a perfect example. Breakout of the 200 last week on Thursday. Pullback, pullback to below the 200. Lost it, but tested the 8, which was this consolidation. Right, look at this consolidation here. Well, it was even lower than that, actually. Can I delete that other one? This was this candle right here, the breakout, Wednesday the 2nd, breakout of the 200 was the breakout of this consolidation, right? For the last, I don't know, since the beginning of June, most of June, you had this consolidation on ON. You had your pullback to the 8. Now you're seeing your bounce today. It was weak yesterday, so there was no real clue that this was going to happen. Not as weak as the market, so kind of interesting. But look at the buying come in right now. Is this D1 great? No. It's been on a much longer term pullback, either because of earnings or whatever it may be. But ON is also a good company in terms of semiconductors. Look at the potential now from here to the H minus, 10%. I don't know. You tell me. If something like Intel is getting so much bullish impetus, and we're kind of bottom picking here with some of the laggards in the sector, well, then maybe there's a little bit of room here for these to move back up. So let's see. So I like INTC. We like ON. Harry's short Reddit. So let's look at that one. Looks like Dino took profits on Toast, so we'll look at that one too. Let's look at what did we just say? Reddit. Let's look at Reddit first. Undo that. Delete that. Here we go. Yeah, look at this relative weakness. A little bit shorting off the top. I don't mind it. Reddit's still a relatively new company. Is there a world that you could use AVWAP from the relative high as your support? Well, look at that. Tried to bounce off the 8, tried to test the AVWAP from the relative high, couldn't get above it. Now look at it, selling off back down, likely to a level down here, which is closer to the 15. We'll mark this as orange. It kind of, you get some conversions here around 143.50. I mean, that's a pretty good potential move. How do you trade this now? Well, you would like to see it pull back further, maybe to VWAP, to retest low a day, or to test that orange level, and that would get you 4%. So we'll keep an eye on Reddit. It doesn't look bad. Look at this candle. SPY is really all over the place right now. I think this is a really tough place to trade right now. MU, new high a day. Donkey, let's take a look. So we'll pull this down. So we want to see PFE finish. You can just set an alert up here above the high a day, because PFE would need to show pretty good confirmation to be even interesting to me. MU looks great. Look at this guy. Nice shot, Donkey. You're getting through AVWAP from the relative high, which was this high volume candle from the 25th. There's definitely something here. What do we know about MU? This guy's a mover too. I like MU better than I like probably ON, and better than I like INTC. I don't know, ON's pretty good. Probably better than INTC though. Is there a trade here back to the relative high or to the 1 standard deviation here? It's about $2, so maybe not a massive move, but I see it. And you also know that this stock, like I said, can move less than 2% there, but to the all-time high, 4.2%, maybe. Thanks for... Oh, what sound was that? That's the Raven. It's this one. Nature. I like that one better than the broken glass. Yeah, and thanks for sharing those links for anyone who's new in here. So, cool. Gonna keep an eye on. Let's see what Yu's doing. Maybe getting close to what's going to be a take profit for me. Not sure. Like I said, I would like to see 29.32. You're only at the 2nd standard deviation here. We're above this pivot point, so there's definitely some good strength in this stock. Definitely comparatively to the market. Let's see if QQQ can hold VWAP. SPY obviously already below VWAP. This is getting a little messy in here. But the green line is today's VWAP. And then you have orange is the 8, 15, 21 is the blue, yellow is 15. And then you have the standard deviations of VWAP. Here, I'll just delete it just so you can see it. But the red is, the gray is the 1st standard deviation, red is 2nd, and the other red is the 3rd. So we'll see. We'll see what SPY does. This is pretty unconvincing and hard to trade. Has anyone called LPTE yet? Shaq just called Amazon. Wow, look at that dump. Oof. Big red candle. That's all flea week. All flea week. And so what does that tell you? It tells you that in this market, you know, you can trade both ways, but you better have something that's really confirming, especially if you're looking short, I think. You better be taking the best of the best. All right, so we'll look at sectors here in a second. Donkey likes DraftKings as well. And someone said energy is strong, so we'll look at energy. It looks like Reddit is hardly even bouncing. So what we could do is set an alert up here, and maybe if we get a pullback to view up, we could look for an entry. Let's look at Oxy real quick. Johnny, if you're in here, thanks for the rec in Denmark. That was amazing. Really liked that food. Copenhagen is a very cool city. I highly recommend it to anyone. Look at this breakout of the 100 here. Is there a world that we test the 200 again? Potentially. It's already up 4% today, so a pretty significant move. You obviously have some very significant horizontal coming in here as well. Where is it exactly? I'm not sure. Maybe it's a little higher. Unclear. I think it's right there. Yeah, definitely right there. So, you know, if it can get above this with conviction, then maybe. But energy's weird, right? It sometimes move. I mean, look at that. Great intraday price action. Fantastic price action. Nice one, Johnny. Prime Day sale. Ripley called out AMD. Let's take a look at that one because we know that the other semiconductors, a couple of the semiconductors are looking good. Not bad. You have what looks like a pretty key AVU op coming in there above. That's the all-time high at 141. If that's your target, then that's probably not a bad spot. But look at this one. This one did an exact dance that we're talking about, right? Pullback, testing the 8, broke down through the 8, riding the one standard deviation of whatever this is. Looks like from the relative high back down here. Bounced, tested the 8 again, break down to 15. I don't love it. I think there's better semiconductor stocks out there right now. We'll review all the interesting stocks as well here too. These are the ones that I've been looking at for potential trade. Man, Ava's getting pounded today again. That's fine. Shop getting pounded today too. Woof. So this one didn't really get the breakout that I thought it might. Even after the like in here, I was very bullish for Shop. The hammer was definitely not as enticing, but definitely interesting. So Harry's already out of Reddit. Kind of interesting. Let's look at that one. Broke down slightly below this pivot point. I think there's still room lower, but you know, he's been pretty locked into his scalping trading, so I respect it, and I think, you know, you gotta see how he's trading in this environment. He has a pretty bearish thesis. That's fine, but you know, everyone's different. Okay, so sound is now below VWAP. And here's the market testing low a day. Makes sense. Let's see if it breaks down further. This feels like LPTE to me. Surprised no one's called it. Cost is reporting June sales tomorrow, so maybe someone already knows. XLF very weak, so we'll look at that. Okay, so Reeks called LPTE 10 minutes ago. I agree with that. I kind of felt like that's maybe where we were, especially when you get this big engulf like this, especially when you get a rejection like this. Now we're probably going to be a little range bound. So what do? You need to evaluate based on this. So I'll probably just take my gains here on you. I think it's good enough for now. It says 23%. Let's see. Probably not because of the pullback here. And I'm actually just going to take a market fill on this because I think it's pretty close to what the center the bid is. It was, yeah, close enough. All right, so let's see what kind of return I had on that. I don't suggest taking market fills, but I didn't want to mess with it. This thing's still strong, still looks good. I don't mind it, but we'll bring it down. PLTR now finding new lows. So I think I'm probably going to have to take a small loss on PLTR just because it didn't make a ton of sense to continue to hold it. Oh, I only sold one of my shares of you. I was like, what is going on here? Or one of my contracts. So let's go. I can go back and get a better fill. Maybe not if the market's going to move down. Let's see. Hold, please. All right, I got my fill. So on that one, I took, it looks like, 13.5%, $40 a pop, and I had 15 contracts. So, I mean, do the math, 600, 650, not bad. I'll probably end up scratching the Palantir trade that I'm about to take off. So yeah, we'll see. So Palantir yesterday, I could have definitely taken some profits on it multiple times, but I didn't, and that's okay. But that's kind of how it goes, right? You have to determine where your line in the sand is and then make that call for yourself. All right, so I put in a fill order for Palantir. Let's see if we can get filled. But if not, that's okay too. So we're out of BSX, we're out of U. I still think U is good, so we'll keep this one up and keep an eye on it. AMD was not it, but we did like Intel. But like I said, I don't think the market's in a place right now today where you can be looking to just get long. I think yesterday, the relative strength that you're seeing on some of these other stocks, yeah, no problem. But today, definitely not. And you know what? We could just take profit on the shares on Sound. No reason not to. We can get a little bit flatter here as the market's not really, the buyers aren't coming in. But we'll take 13% on Sound shares too. Actually, let's see if low a day holds here first. There's a world where it retakes view up there. And see, Palantir's not dead yet, so it's a good thing we didn't close it out, but I have a limit order in to try and get closer to a scratch. So let's see. Yeah, BSX, what a shitter. That's unfortunate, but that's the only loss of the week so far, so we'll take it. Yeah, Reeks called it. Thanks, Timar. How you doing, dude? How's your trading been going? What would you need to see from TXN to consider? I think the daily saw in the 5M looks good. AMD bounced off June 16 day, coincides with the 15. Okay. TXN. I mean, how do you trade this at this point? What's your target? Is it all-time high? Is it this horizontal? There's obviously horizontal right there. And then from there, it's unclear. You could throw an AVU op on there. See what that looks like. Probably nothing. You could throw in here just to see what it looks like. Probably nothing. I don't know. This is the key level probably. So how do you trade it from here? What's your target? Donkey. I think that's the hard part. So let's see SPY bounce. We have this alert. We'll just put it in at high a day. I think that would be a good place to see what the market can actually do or what yields. So, I mean, same story as yesterday, guys. We're evaluating RS on our open positions to identify whether or not we want to stay in a trade. So we'll set this at VWAP. Let's see if it can even retake VWAP. Palantir is a little bit weaker today, but still holding the 8, right? So I'm not that concerned. And look at Sound, putting in a big hammer. So it's like we said, we didn't close that position yet. Let's look at one of my other LTI, Oxy non-stop. So we do need to look at the sectors here because we haven't really yet, and that's in my normal game plan. Look at you. Look at that. So, I mean, this market is kind of, you're going to be jumpy in here, and this buyers and sellers really coming in both directions. And so you, maybe not a good exit, but enough profit there for me to say, yeah, this is a good place to stop out. I sold them for 335. They're now 350-ish. It's okay, 15 cents. It wasn't a massive position by any means, but look at the volume coming back in. I mean, is this market just going to bounce? Very well could. Look at Tesla, stronger than these other ones. Costco now pulling back below the, what is that, the 100. Definitely a lot of key levels in here. You really need to pay attention, in particular for cost. Tesla, we said strongest, probably. Meta's pulling back. Apple strong, but look at this. It's just going to bounce to 200. I don't know if Harry even closed that or not. Meta's weak, Microsoft weak, AVGO a little bit stronger, but I think that's maybe just indicative of semiconductors in general. Netflix absolutely plumbing. Amazon showing some support after that big red candle. Google also weak. So Netflix probably the weakest, it looks like. Microsoft also pretty weak. And that's not good for the mags, but look what's going on with QQQ. It's still just kind of in the space. So let's look at the sectors now, since we haven't yet. Semiconductors, obviously, flying. Mags should be weak, but they're kind of just floating around, breaking even, so kind of interesting there. XLE is the strongest one. Let's look at this on the D1 to see if there's something here. VIX not really dumping, or not really moving up, but not dumping either. So we can set an alert at low a day on VIX just to keep an eye on it. And look at energy now. You're stuck at the 200. I would want to see energy get above that. All right, TXN just got an alert. What was that for? That level? Let's see. Let's see if it goes or not. I mean, the D1 is great. There is, without a doubt, a great D1 here. How do you trade it is the other question, right? Because this thing hardly pulls back, especially on the D1. You know, yesterday was your pullback. Was this an opportunity to get in? I don't think so. Was this pullback through view up an opportunity to get in? I don't think so. I think that would have been tough. Maybe there's a day trade here if this pulls back further, but the market's not giving you any real tailwind. Sound looks like it might be done for the day off that rejection. So yeah, let's just lock in those gains on Sound. Like I said, 14% looks pretty good to me. Take it, a couple base hits in here, a couple home runs. Yeah, you gotta like it. We're in a good place. And so what will we do with Sound? We'll just keep an eye on it. We'll set the alert down here at EVUOP from all-time high, and we'll forget about it. See you later, Sound. We'll keep an eye on PLTR. Looks like it's not going to be able to get back above the 8. U still looking good, so maybe that was a poor exit. MU looks good. I think there's just better picks than TXN. Like, TXN doesn't really move like that. It's moving 2%. I guess it does in some instances, but I'm not really sure that you're really going to make a big return here off of like this trade. Hard to say. Let's see what else people are looking at. Autos finding next to nothing. Talk to picks. I'm looking at our MDB, so we'll look at MongoDB. I don't know. I don't see it. There's no volume either here. I don't see it for MDB. Demos likes mRNA. This one's been one that's been called out a couple times. Nice breakout. Pull back to the 8. Next leg higher. Definitely looks good. This guy's been beat to shit though. So, you know, can you ride this even further? I'm not sure. It seems like to me like we probably already missed it. We talked about energy already with Oxy. Nice breakout here from CVX, one of the other really big energy companies in terms of oil and gas. Looks good. Tested the 50 yesterday, or the 100 yesterday. This looks really good. Definitely looks good. How could you trade this? Is there a world that you could sell some puts on this? Let's look at the chains. CVX. All right, so we would like to sell below some key levels. Key level down here is 140, so could we get a 140 put? No, we cannot, because there is good volume, but it moves so poorly and so slowly that the premium available for this is next to nothing. So not even worth it to me. Let's see. Holy shit, yeah, FTMT. What the fuck? Yeah, that is awful. I feel bad on that one because it was showing some good relative strength yesterday, but then never really like broke out. I don't know. I think that would have been tough. I didn't take this. I did call it out because I thought it was showing good relative strength in here, in particular with all these tails. And I think Greeks took it, so I feel bad about that one. What else do we got? Anything else in here? Kairote, is that how you say it? Is looking for a Duolingo short. This is a good looking short. The problem is you need to find a pullback, right? Can we get a view up test? The other problem is 200's lingering below down here. So let's see, is there enough room? Certainly looks like it. It's already down 5%, so yeah, you would need the pullback to get short here. But I like it. I like it for a short idea. So here we are. We're trading both ways, and look at you. Okay, so this big engulf candle now bounced. Let's see what the market's doing. The market's still strong. Well, not strong, but it's on an upwards trend here to test the high day. Let's see if it can. We're through view op now. We're through all the EMAs that are continually converging, but also what do you call that? Having a cross, 8 EMA, 15, 21 EMA cross potentially here. You had view op from yesterday, last candle. I don't know if this one's as important at this point, but you can see where it was important in the first couple candles of the open. So let's see. I mean, this is chop right now. So what are we doing? Same story. We're evaluating RS. PLTR probably doesn't have it at this point. What did I do for sound? Let's just take a quick look. Is it still going? No, sound is showing weakness now too. Yep, so it was a good exit. Yeah, and so that's where we're at, right? We're just evaluating this market. And if this puts in a bearish hammer, what does that tell you? It's probably an opportunity to test low a day again. And what's the weakest sector? Weakest sector is VXX. I'm sorry, that's VIX. XLU. Utilities, don't really trade utilities. And look at the daily. There's probably nothing here for me. It is breaking down through the 50. And maybe you have some L pluses here that might be relevant, but I don't really trade utilities. Gold is weak. XLF is weak, but this is just pulling back. What do we know about XLF? If SPY wants to continue this move, then it's going to need XLF. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one. Hack is pulling back today, probably indicative of what we saw with FTNT a little bit. What else is in Hack? Pan W is one we looked at this morning, but look at it now. There's nothing there. I'm sorry, this is in sectors. We should just be looking at sectors here. XLP is another one that's weak. Testing the 50 in here. A lot of levels of support below this for consumer staples. I mean, what do you know about consumer staples? If the market is, gets any level of fear, there's a flight to safety. Well, consumer staples is, safety. So a pullback here, I wouldn't be overly concerned, especially with all the support below. TAN, been on an absolute belter, so we should look at some of those. Sedge was one that was good. But yeah, I actually really don't see a lot of weakness in this market. Despite what you're seeing, I don't see a lot of weakness. And look at what's happening here. We're getting a little bit of a hammer. Let's see how today finishes. I don't really see the weakness that would be indicative of, hey, we got to be really careful. I still think it's worth it. So yeah, I still think it's worth it to find some good longs. Looking at LVS and NXPI, let's look at those. And look at Duo, tried to take another leg lower, tested the 1 standard deviation. I still think there's room here to test this, but you would need the market. LVS has come up. I know there's a lot of, I mean, I think you're too late on LVS. Look at this move. Look how extended you are from the 8. Micho, you're finding good D1s, but the problem is you're too late, right? I mean, given this could continue, definitely. There's still room up, but it just feels like, you know, the move has already happened for these guys, especially with what the market's doing, right? Now, given, if the market does, like we were just saying, hammer big today and go and move back up, well, you know, is this going to continue? It's hard to say. You know, there's no guarantee. But yes, this is a good looking stock. You had a VWAP test. Could you have taken an entry there? Perhaps. Market's not really giving you much here, though. Oof, look what happened to UPST, just off of a cliff. Day trade on LVS? Sure, but you missed the entry, right? The entry was VWAP. And also, I just don't think, you know, I think you'd be really, I mean, look what the market's doing. So, all right, what else do we want to do? Probably find a couple longs that we might be interested in for this, and we'll go by sector. We said it's XLE mainly. SMH is still flying. XLV, healthcare, kind of interesting. We saw that with PFE. We see this with Mara. You know, if there's some rotation into this sector, what does that look like? You have a cloud level here that could be significant. You have the 100 coming in above that, the 200 above that. A lot of just key levels that are going to be relevant here that we'll have to take a look at as this moves. But you still have a lot of choppy BS in here. Is there an H plus? Probably. Potentially. Where would we be interested? Well, this seems like a good place. Let's see. Did I just... Let's do this. The Raven. But yeah, we'll just see what Spy's going to do today. I mean, we'll just set another alert here. Look at this hammer coming in. This is just garbage at this point. ANET's still fine. I mean, look at this thing holding up. Is Ava going to find some... I mean, TXN, look at this. This is what I'm saying. It's a great pick. Looks great. There's some room up here, we said, after it gets through this horizontal to the H+. But where's the entry? Was this your entry? I don't know. Maybe. How do you size for that? I don't know. I couldn't. MU, we like MU quite a bit. I think MU is probably a better one, personally. QS still looks all right. We said it's a nice breakout, up 15% though, and LVS. Okay, what else? Let's pull up INTC one more time. I mean, dude, look at this guy. This is nonstop. That's hilarious. All right, let's see. Is there a world that we could sell INTC puts? Like, look at the support down here. Yeah, like $19 or $18 even. I mean, probably not if I had to guess. Yeah, there's nothing here. The premium on these are garbage. Not worth it. So yeah, you got to be willing and able to take a lot of different kinds of trades. Whether that's, you know, selling data, whether that's you know, doing spreads, whether that's shares, whether that's options. But in my opinion, if you have the edge and you see a good trade, okay, so here's the hammer coming in. Now we're testing VWAP again. Yeah, this is just cooked for the day. So keep an eye on PLTR. There might be a world that we need to take a loss here, but I'll hold it for now. And that's fine. MU. All right, let's see what open positions we have left. Not a ton. Like we said, ANET puts that we sold, Palantir puts that we sold that are in the money 25%, and Ava puts that we sold that are a little underwater. So we'll see how those work out. The thing with Palantir is my initial thought, and it was the right thought, was that we should be selling theta against this, and that's what I did. And that trade actually is turning out much better than my calls. I don't know. Definitely something to think about. Broccoli says, we're right in the TE quant pivot zone. FYI, I think it's okay to post this occasionally, even though it's TSP. I like that. I like that Broccoli shares that. I think it's good to have a lot of different resources. There's no reason not to. Oh man, my coffee's cold again. That's a confusing conversation. Oh, Dan says took sound off too early. Yeah, I mean, listen, everyone trades differently. I think these guys are taking these in shares. That's fine. But I took it in options because I'm an options trader mainly, and I'm maybe a little bit more of a cowboy than some of these guys. Like I've said, and if you've read my profile, I trade a little bit more like Harry, and I'm maybe a little bit looser with some of the risk management. But at the same time, I feel like I have some of the better risk management out there. So we'll see. This guy. So what did we say? We want to see PFE hold the 200. Well, what's it doing? And we were looking at sectors, and we said XLV is strong. Healthcare. Well, PFE is one of them. Looking pretty good. Is there a world you could sell puts on PFE below the 100? Let's take a look. It doesn't move enough. My guess is no. 24, yeah, premium's dog shit. So you would have to trade the shares probably, or even calls. But I mean, look at all this horizontal that's coming in here. I just don't see a ton of room up here. This D1 is just not the kind of D1 that you would be looking for. This is kind of catching a knife a little bit. So you could put an L plus in here though. That might be interesting for another some sort of pullback potentially. But like I said, where would we be interested in? We'll leave this drawing up. Maybe it goes here, pulls back to the 200, next level. That's what we would want to see. And in doing so, we would be interested in taking the trade here on the retest of the 200 and confirming support, which is what? A foothold. Cool. So we'll see. We'll leave that there like that. Let's look at just the overall watch list. What else is still interesting? TSSI was one that we were interested in. Look at this pullback that's coming out. I mean, this guy's got to be off the list if it's not already. Actually, let's look through this real quick. All right, so what did SPY do? Back through VWAP. QQQ a little bit weaker. NVIDIA just hanging around VWAP, kind of looking just like SPY. Tesla's stronger, so we'll move that one up. Apple's a little bit stronger, but the D1 sucks. Yeah, I mean, this is next to impossible to trade today, in my mind. Look at Google making a new low a day. The weakness persists. So we can set an alert here. Let's see if it breaks down. We'll draw another level in here. Cool. And here's SPY again. And so what do we do? Set an alert at low a day, and let's see if it hits. CVNA is falling off a cliff after contacting a long-standing trend line. Let's take a look. I think CVNA is a shit company. And I also think that they probably did have accounting errors, of which Hindenburg called out, but rip Hindenburg, they're no longer a thing. I mean, yeah, the D1 is just garbage. I know CVNA was called out as long yesterday. Well, that's why we look at these trend lines and we internalize them. And we see if there's any relevance. We don't, immediately just give credence to anything. but we do look at the longer term trend lines and say, okay, is there one that might be respected? Toast was actually the same way. And we'll see if it persisted today, but look at this. Big H minus here, big rejection today. I don't know. You just didn't have the market, right? You didn't have the market for it. And I think Dino took a trade on it, and he took a win in the trade up to the H minus. You can do that, but you're limited in terms of what your take profit is, and then also on a day like today, you get nailed sometimes if you get caught, and then you're ended up bag holding, waiting for it to retest that level. I mean, personally, that happens to me. And now here's another one, another trend line on CVNA coming from earnings. I know historically we've said we don't use those. I do. I don't differentiate between earnings candles and other candles when it comes to significant levels, especially when there's a lot of volume coming in. I still think those are important. I mean, you can throw an EV op on there, but obviously, yeah, look at that. Rejection of the H minus, likely because of the market. And you're seeing weakness today. It's not something I would short because of the D1, but this long is dead. So nice call, Donkey. Fried Donkey, that's a cool name. What else do we have going? Anything else that's really relevant? I mean, we took our profits, took our gains. We're having a decent week, not bad. PLTR is still hanging around there, so I don't mind it too much. In fact, I'm just gonna take off the order to close it because I think, you know, if this finishes here above the 8 of 15, then we're fine. And look what SPY's doing. So we'll set an alert down here at low of day 2 for QQQ, and we'll see. Is there something here perhaps? I don't know. But this looks like a pretty key level to me. From an intraday perspective. And from a pre-market perspective. Let's see. So we could set an alert there maybe? Right there. Cool. What else do we need to do here? Probably nothing. I think at this point, I'm sitting on my fucking hands, mate. All right, Isidore added the PLTR. Interesting. So we'll see what that looks like. These guys are talking about the price target for sound being at 12 or 13. I said 1250, I think. Look, PLTR is still fine. PLTR is absolutely fine. And this is what I had for for sound. I had it testing the VWAP, and like I said, I thought this could be an exit if I was gonna hold it for a little bit longer. But I saw the PA that was coming. We saw that it couldn't hold VWAP here, and it was breaking down. Right in here, this candle, I think, if we look back at it and did a replay, it had a little bit of a hammer at first, but then it closed below, or it had this like pretty big engulf. No buyers were interested at this point. You know, is it going to bounce here? Potentially, but you're right here at this AVWAP. You know, sound can stay on the interesting list, but to me, it's dead. BBAI was another good one. I think a little bit more of a pullback yesterday, so let's see what it looks like. I mean, bigger hammer coming in today. Could you have taken profits in the morning? Absolutely. Another one that's kind of a Momo stock, but look at this guy, just like Upstart. Tank. So come off the list. Joby's still good. SoFi's still good, but I think you have the H minus above. So that's relevant. Probably need to consider that. Anything else in here? Bruce Moore, profit taking early, a bit early. But yeah, for those of you guys that did or did not see my sound return, it was 100% on the calls, over 100%, and it could have been more. But you know, sell into strength. Don't get greedy. Pigs are greedy, and pigs get slaughtered. So okay, look at this hammer coming on SoFi. This is off the list, at least for now. You've been looking at that. Still looks okay. but it is pulling back from that high a day. So my exit right in here, not too chuffed about it. Close it. It'll stay on the list because it looks a little bit better. Oracle was one that was looking a little bit better today. Breakout over this H minus, confirmed it yesterday. Or, I'm sorry, H plus, confirmed it yesterday. This might have been invalidated already at that point. So we'll do that. Is there a world that we can do this? Also, guys, if you don't know, this music is from Four Hill. He's in our community. He's awesome. Highly recommend you check him out. He's cool. Nice guy. Solid trader, but also makes some really cool music. So check it out. Talking about quant levels, interesting. Morty just took profits on AMAT. Okay. And yeah, I took off my loss on BSX. So we're kind of just hanging out now. We're pretty flat except for PLTR. And we do have a couple puts that we've sold that are in a good spot. On the puts that I sell, when I sell puts against the position, I always look to try and take gains around 80-90% if I can. If it's moving in your favor that much, then that means you made a good trade for that type of trade, you know, a theta trade, which is a little bit different than your other ones. And if you can sell it at 80% before the strike date, then you're probably in a good spot, because over that amount of time, you know, you can get effed the same way that we look to trade lottos on stocks that could hit a key level, you know, aggressively in the last couple of days of a strike, of a weekly option as an example, right? Or at the end of a week, you could get effed the same way that, you know, if you're selling theta, right? So that last 20% on a position, or last 10-15%, is not worth holding those puts if you're just looking to not get exercised. If you don't care about getting exercised, which is honestly the way that you really should be looking at for those theta positions, then yeah, of course you can leave it. But you know, I think I can do better with my buying power than just getting exercised on a theta position. However, you know, if I was to get exercised on something like PLTR at 125, that would mean that there's a significant breakdown coming in here. But I also don't think that, you know, I would mind owning PLTR down there either. So ANET, same story, below the 200 at 95. And AEVW, I don't know as much about those guys, but AEVW is AEVA, that's what it is. You know, this is Pete's pick. It's getting beat up a little bit today. Still holding the 15 here. I don't mind it. And, you know, based on this price action, I still think, you know, even if we got exercise here, that'd be fine. So we'll be okay there. So yeah, and we're looking at MU. I like this one, so I'll add this to the interesting list. All the semis are pretty strong today. TXN looks good, but now you're getting your pullback here, right? And we were just saying, how do you trade this? Well, we're right back at this level. You know, is it going to test back up? Is it going to continue down to VWAP? Well, SPY's not giving you much here. It looks like it's testing the low of the day. So you probably can't take an entry until this at least tests VWAP and then to retest high day. So we'll keep that one up. MU, same story. 124 about, which coincides with this pivot line. Okay, I mean, maybe there's a lotto trade in here on MU. Because look at the volume that was coming in a little bit here. Could you do, let's see, high day is 125. So could you do, I mean, they're still a little bit expensive because you don't have dailies here. You have weeklies, 3 days out. 125 calls are about 176. They're also, you know, the delta's not great. If you went more in the money, 124, which would be a little bit more ideal. The volume's good here. I don't know. Is there a world where MU continues back up here? Yeah, but you need the market, right? And SMH does look good, but look at healthcare. It's not really doing much here. So let's look at IWM real quick. Break out of the 200, pull back to the 8, now bounce. Kind of interesting there. Writer, if you have the time, check what I wrote in RDT chat. I don't know what you wrote in RDT chat. What did you write? My long prospects are ON, TXN, AMAT. I mean, yeah, we've looked at ON already. We looked at TXN already, and we can look at AMAT as well. Anything in the semiconductors is probably the one that you're going to be looking at for long. Even INTC potentially, but you know it's a little bit of a shitter. And look what Oracle's doing now, rejecting this H plus. I think it's off the list of interesting. So we had Win in here already. Win was looking better than LVS earlier this week, so we'll see what it looks like now. Man, this is like loading slow. I think it's because I have so many indicators. Probably need to clean up some of that. Yeah, look at Win, just straight continuation. This is better than LVS and has been, and it was on our list because of that. Lyft is another one that was looking good. Uber was another one that was looking good, but we can add LVS here too. Why not? But like, where's the pullback? There is no pullback. So if you didn't take it off of the breakout, then you know, where would you trade it? I don't know. That's the question. Let's look at AMAT because Wizard. I like On a lot. FYI, Wizard. AMAT does look good. Getting through some key levels. You're now at another key level here. This guy's been pretty beat up. It seems like all the beat up semiconductors are running today. Kind of interesting. I mean, every single one bar TXN were ones that have been beat up. AMAT, INTC, ON. You know, is there an H plus here somewhere? I don't know. Perhaps. Is it really relevant? Hard to say. You know, you can throw in some AVU ops up here. See where those come into play. Maybe one here. Maybe one here. It looks like a pretty key candle. I don't know. I don't mind it. Let's look at the intraday. Maybe there's a day trade here back to high day. That's maybe what I'm looking for off this bounce from the low day from SPY. We just set an alert up here just for fun. What did we say? MU was the one? And look at this. Maybe there is. What was the high day on 125 calls? 229, so it would have been like 30-40 cents if you caught this back at high day. I don't know. Doesn't seem really worth it, especially with what SPY's doing and QQQ. So I think we're probably pretty set here for today. Like we said, there's I'll finish up the interesting list here. BSX is off. Screw that stock. Net, let's see what this looks like. Trying to reclaim, but this big red candle as well. Is this like indicative of what PLTR is going to do? I don't know, but it looks pretty similar, right? Big red candle, kind of waffling in here, finding some support, bouncing. So it doesn't look awful. What is this? This is QQQ. Why did I do that? Sorry, just fixing the layout real quick. All right, I mean, maybe it is bouncing. Hard to say. Look at this. This market is totally agnostic, I'd say. It doesn't really know what it wants. But yes, if you wanted to take a trade in here today, it would be a day trade back to the high day. Probably soon. You would need your entry very soon. And then say, you know, this is a day trade in semiconductors. What's the other semiconductors that we were potentially interested in? We said TXN. Is there a day trade on TXN? I mean, maybe that's the entry. 220 calls. I mean, these are pretty like risk-on day trades, and I don't recommend these for a lot of you guys, especially if you're not profitable already. What else is going? LSSC. What does that look like? Lattice. All right, stuck at the 200. Nothing there. Microchip has been good, and look at this. We said we wanted a pullback. Look what we got. We got the pullback. Check mark. Nike, baby. I don't know. Looks pretty good to me. SMCI, you know, is there well with this retest this level and then goes back up to the H plus or H minus? Wouldn't be surprised. Would not be surprised. NXPI, someone else called this one out. This one looks pretty good. A little bit more weakness here right now. Is there an intraday trade here on this? Looking at chains. Could you do like a 23? No, because they're $10 strikes. 240 is the next level. I mean, that's pretty brutal, and they're expensive. Nope, this ain't it. It's too early in the week probably to be taking a lotto like this, so. All right. Let me finish up with, actually, let's look at a couple more of these. This one's interesting to me, Teradyne. I'm pretty sure the options volume's garbage on this, though. AMD, nothing. Yeah, I think it's either AMAT or MU if I was going to take a trade today. And even then, I really don't think it makes a ton of sense. Anything else? Interesting list. Let's look at Hood one more time. This thing's been on a flyer. Pulling back now, testing the 8. Maybe some consolidation in there, so we'll keep it up. Walmart, look at that. Rejection of the H-. I mean, says it all. Off the list. Net, we said not bad, so we'll leave it on. CLS, bouncing off the 8 here. Kind of like losing some volume in here, so not as interested. But it's definitely a better performing in the semiconductor space, so we'll see. Zeta, another one. Look at this. Rejection of the H-. There's nothing here. So IBM, look at this. Consolidation, having a tough time there. This L plus maybe will hold. So maybe if you wanted to get long here on IBM, maybe that's where you'd be interested. Okay, we wanted to look at Lyft. ANET's off the list. Oh, ANET still looks good, but I'm already in it, so we'll just take it off. Lyft, not bad. Uber, pulling back today. Nice breakout. It's going to hold this potentially. Let's look what the intraday looks like. Not bad, but quite a big sell-off here. So, I mean, look how range-bound this is. If you're a day trader in futures, you probably could be messing with this like a savage, but I don't think there's something here. Let's look at AMAT real quick just to see what that looks like. So I have MU chains up just in case I decide I want to take some like scalpy day trade to kind of add on to what we've already done today. I mean, it's been a good day, guys. Made about $5 grand today if you factor in the BSX loss that I took. So yeah, I mean, it's been a good day. We made another about 1,000 yesterday too, so it's been a good week. And we're travel trading, so I cannot complain. AMAT, the problem is you have this H plus above here. Probably high a day is the most you could ask. It's probably MU if I was going to take a trade, I think. And like I said, I don't know if this is relevant or not. There might not be anything here, but there's definitely something. So, yeah, I think it would be MU if I was going to take a trade. But even then, I just don't see it with the market. So these are the ones that I'm keeping on the list. Is there anything else that I really think is interesting? We could look at Alb and Dow. I mean, this company sucks. One of the most evil companies in the world. Alb, maybe a breakout here with process industries. Look at that. Breakout of the 100, pull back, next level. That's exactly like what we're looking for, right? Can you now trade this in between the SMAs up to the 200, potentially? Alb is like borderline on my do not trade list, though. I've gotten effed by them quite a few times, so probably just leave that. Anything else? I mean, MU, there it is. DraftKings, someone called out DraftKings. Look at this. Nice bounce coming in here. 8% of Americans said they need $500,000 or more to feel financially secure. Oh my gosh. All right, Pete with another post. Let's see what this says. We are always asked, how do you know when it is time to take gains? Ask yourself, what was your expected trade duration when you entered the trade? What were you expecting the stock and the market to do? Is everything going according to plan? If it is, stick with the trade. Sounds pretty good. I like selling out of the money, put premium, naked, or spreads to distance myself from the action and take advantage of time decay. What strategy are you using now? I mean, yeah, we talked about that. That's what we're using too. DraftKings does look pretty good. You know what? What kind of size would I need to make this worthwhile? Like 15 contracts? I mean, this doesn't even look like it wants to retake VWAP. And look at that. Yeah, there's like nothing here today. I think it would be tough. So we will see. We will see. Do I have AVO up on here? I don't think I do. Let's add it. Sounded like people were looking at this one to secure support. So let's see. I mean, it's way down here. This thing's fine. Got plenty of time in this. Anything else today, guys? Otherwise, we've gone for about hour 45. I know a little slow start because we're getting some technical stuff sorted out. But yeah, I mean, this market's pretty choppy today. You're range bound. It is still, in my mind, bullish. Holding this level with a nice tail is pretty bullish. If this doesn't, and it comes back down to the 8, then fine. I need to see a breakdown of the 8 though, and some more conviction further down to see buyers abandoning some of their positions and taking profits, to say, yeah, this market is no longer bullish. And I'm not seeing it. Like, look at IWM today. Let's adjust this real quick. Not bad. Semiconductors today, obviously the big winner. So we will see. But yeah, let's see how the rest of the week plays out. Hopefully you guys have made some good trades, made some money. But yeah, hopefully more than anything, this gives you insight into how I trade and what's available to you. Yeah, I do sling it a little bit more than some of these other people and some of the other top traders. And that's okay, because maybe my risk profile is a little bit different. And look at that. I think that's sound hitting ABU up. Sure is. What's the market doing? Pulling back? Yeah. I mean, it seems like it makes sense. It seems like that was a great exit on sound by my part. So, yeah, like I said, it's been a good day, good week so far. Let's keep it rolling. Win the week. If you guys aren't following me, shoot me a follow. We like to do this occasionally, and hopefully it's helping you, at least from an analysis standpoint, and to evaluate, what different stocks are doing. Yeah, let's call it there. Otherwise, appreciate you guys, and I'll be in the Discord. And yeah, we'll be streaming a little bit more from sunny Denver, Colorado. But yeah, have a good day, guys. And probably sitting on your hands today, and there's nothing wrong with that. So, cheers, guys.